Event report: SpaceX on standby. Trump requests immediate action for ISS astronauts, clarifying no current stranding. Date: January 29, 2025. Subject: urgent call for action regarding NASA astronauts aboard the International Space Station ISS. Summary. In a surprising political development, former President Donald Trump publicly urged SpaceX, the private aerospace company founded by Elon Musk, to expedite the return of two NASA astronauts, Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore, who have been stationed aboard the ISS since June 2024. Trump accused the Biden administration of neglecting these astronauts, stating they had been virtually abandoned. However, this call for action has been met with confusion, as both SpaceX and NASA had already established a timeline for their return, scheduled for early April 2025. Timeline of events: 1. June 2024, astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore launched to the ISS aboard Boeing's CST-100 Starliner for an originally planned 8-day mission. 2. August 2024, NASA extended the astronauts' stay to investigate issues with the Starliner's thrusters. Ultimately, the decision was made to bring the Starliner back uncrewed due to safety concerns. 3. September 2024, the Crew Dragon spacecraft, part of the Crew 9 mission, arrived at the ISS intended to return Williams and Wilmore. 4. December 2024, NASA announced a delay for the Crew 10 mission, initially set for February 2025, postponing it to late March 2025. This delay implied that the return of Crew 9 astronauts would also be pushed to early April 2025. 5. January 28, 2025, Trump publicly requested Elon Musk to facilitate the immediate return of the astronauts, prompting Musk to confirm the request via social media, despite existing plans for an April return. Key points of discussion: 1. Confusion and miscommunication. Trump's remarks and Musk's subsequent confirmation led to widespread confusion in the space community. NASA had not issued any official statements indicating that the astronauts were in danger or needed immediate return. Indeed, Williams and Wilmore have expressed satisfaction with their extended stay, highlighting their professionalism and dedication to their mission. 2. Political context. Trump's comments reflect a broader political narrative, as he and Musk criticized the Biden administration for failing to manage the astronauts' return effectively. Former NASA Administrator Bill Nelson countered these claims, asserting that the astronauts' extended stay was a decision based solely on safety and operational needs, free from political pressures. 3. NASA's position. NASA has emphasized that Williams and Wilmore were not stranded on the ISS. The agency made it clear that the astronauts could return in an emergency at any time. NASA characterized the upcoming Crew 9 mission as a routine crew rotation rather than an emergency rescue, assuring that the astronauts would return safely as planned. Analysis of source differences. Source 1: NPR focuses on the political implications of Trump's request and the resulting confusion, emphasizing the lack of official communication regarding the astronauts' situation. Source 2: Space News provides a detailed account of the planned timelines and operational aspects surrounding the astronauts' return, clarifying that NASA had already prepared for their return. Source 3: Reuters highlights the urgency of Trump's request while noting the absence of detailed plans about the astronauts' return, underscoring the overall uncertainty surrounding the situation. Conclusion. While Trump's request for immediate action regarding the astronauts might have raised alarm, it appears that NASA and SpaceX had already established a timeline for their return, highlighting significant challenges in communication and the intertwining of political dynamics with space operations. The situation illustrates the complexities inherent in human spaceflight and the importance of clear communication among agencies, private companies, and the public to avoid misunderstandings and ensure the safety of astronauts in space. In the recent discourse surrounding the International Space Station ISS, a series of events involving President Donald Trump's comments have unveiled counterintuitive aspects related to the astronauts' return. At first glance, it may appear that the astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore were stranded due to a lack of action from the Biden administration. However, a closer analysis reveals several layers of complexity that challenge this narrative. 1. Misleading terminology of stranded. The use of the term stranded by Trump implies a dire situation where astronauts are left helpless in space. NASA has consistently refuted this characterization, asserting that Williams and Wilmore were not in any danger of being stranded. They could have returned in an emergency using either their original spacecraft or the Crew Dragon, which was already docked at the ISS. This suggests that the situation was more routine than urgent, contradicting the sense of crisis implied in Trump's statements. 2. Political timing and messaging. Trump's request for immediate action came at a politically charged moment, potentially aimed at critiquing the Biden administration's handling of space missions. While this could be interpreted as a political maneuver, the underlying operational realities contradict the urgency conveyed. NASA and SpaceX had already established a return timeline for the astronauts that aligned with routine crew rotations, indicating that the issue was more about communication than actual risk. 3. Astronauts' perspective. Both Williams and Wilmore have expressed contentment with their extended stay aboard the ISS, emphasizing their professionalism and adaptability. This perspective challenges the notion that they were victims of neglect, instead painting them as committed astronauts who were engaged in their work. Their satisfaction with the situation adds an unexpected layer, countering the narrative of abandonment and urgency. For NASA's operational decisions, the decision to extend the astronauts' stay was based on safety and operational considerations, not political influence. Former NASA Administrator Bill Nelson's assertion that political factors did not play a role in the decision-making process directly challenges the narrative being spun by Trump and Musk. This highlights a dissonance between public perception and the actual operational dynamics at play. 5. Scheduled return timeline. The timeline established by NASA and SpaceX indicated that the astronauts were slated to return in early April 2025 following the Crew 9 mission. The confusion arose not from a lack of planning but rather from miscommunication and the politicization of the situation. Trump's public statements created an impression of chaos where a well-structured plan already existed, revealing the disconnect between political rhetoric and operational reality. 6. Industry confusion. The reaction from the space industry to Trump's comments underscores the counterintuitive nature of the situation. Industry experts and stakeholders were perplexed by the urgency attributed to the astronauts' return, as they were already aware of the planned schedule. This confusion reflects a broader challenge in communication within the space sector, where political narratives can overshadow factual operational timelines. In summary, the situation involving Trump's request for the return of astronauts from the ISS reveals multiple layers of counterintuitive information. The portrayal of Williams and Wilmore as stranded contrasts sharply with NASA's assurances of their safety and operational readiness for return. The political undertones surrounding the issue complicate the narrative, further highlighting the significant gap between public perception and the realities of space operations. The astronauts' own satisfaction with their extended stay, coupled with NASA's strategic decision-making, underscores the importance of clear communication in addressing misunderstandings and mischaracterizations in the realm of space exploration. In the report regarding President Trump's recent requests for the return of NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore from the International Space Station ISS, several important aspects are worth highlighting that may be overlooked by many readers. These elements have significant implications for understanding the interplay between politics, space operations, and public perception. 1. Miscommunication and public perception. A crucial point that may be missed is the level of miscommunication surrounding the astronauts' return. Trump's characterization of Williams and Wilmore as virtually abandoned suggests a dire situation that does not accurately reflect the operational realities presented by NASA and SpaceX. NASA has consistently stated that the astronauts are not stranded and have the capability to return if necessary. This discrepancy between political rhetoric and operational facts could lead to a misunderstanding among the public regarding the safety and management of astronauts in space. Significance: this miscommunication emphasizes the importance of accurate information dissemination in high-stakes environments. The potential for public panic or misunderstanding can lead to broader implications for support of space missions and trust in governmental agencies. 2. Political context and historical precedents. The report highlights a significant political context, particularly the criticisms directed toward the Biden administration. Both Trump and Musk's insinuations of negligence do not consider the complexities involved in space missions, such as the technical challenges faced with the Boeing CST-100 Starliner. Former NASA Administrator Bill Nelson's assertion that decisions were based on safety rather than political influence is significant. It reflects a conscious effort to separate the administration's operational decisions from political narratives, which is critical for maintaining the integrity and safety of space missions. Significance: understanding the political dynamics at play is essential for comprehending how space exploration is influenced by leadership and policy, often leading to public distrust or misaligned priorities in funding and support. 3. Operational challenges and safety considerations. NASA's decision to extend the astronauts' stay on the ISS was based on safety considerations following issues with the Starliner's thrusters. This operational decision sheds light on the complexities involved in space missions, particularly with the reliance on emerging technologies from different companies like Boeing and SpaceX. The report suggests that NASA's prioritization of safety over expedient returns is commendable, but it can also complicate public messaging when political narratives suggest abandonment. Significance: this highlights the delicate balance between innovation in commercial space travel and operational safety. It raises questions about the robustness of current spacecraft designs and operational protocols, which are critical for future manned missions. 4. Role of media and social media in shaping perception. Trump's use of social media to communicate his request directly to Musk underscores the evolving role of media in shaping public perception. The rapid spread of information, particularly through platforms like X, formerly Twitter, can lead to confusion and misinformation. The lack of an immediate response from NASA or the White House in the face of Trump's comments indicates a potential gap in crisis communication strategies that could be leveraged to mitigate misinterpretations. Significance: this situation illustrates the need for agencies like NASA to develop robust communication strategies that can quickly counter misinformation and clarify operational realities, especially in the age of instant media. 5. Professionalism and perspective of astronauts. The report touches on the responses from Williams and Wilmore, who maintain a professional demeanor and express satisfaction with their extended mission. Their perspective is critical and often overlooked in discussions focused solely on political and operational challenges. By emphasizing their commitment to their work, the astronauts provide a humanizing element to the narrative that counters the political drama surrounding their situation. Significance: highlighting the astronauts' professionalism helps to foster a more nuanced understanding of the human element involved in space exploration. It reinforces the notion that astronauts are not merely subjects of political and operational maneuvering but are dedicated professionals committed to their mission. 6. Implications for future space missions. The entire situation raises important questions about how future missions will be managed, especially as commercial entities like SpaceX take on larger roles in human spaceflight. The potential for delays and the necessity for clear communication will be paramount as NASA continues to work with private companies. The interplay between governmental oversight and commercial freedom will need to be navigated carefully to ensure mission success and astronaut safety. Significance: this consideration is vital for the future of space exploration, especially as more private companies enter the arena. It highlights the need for collaborative frameworks that ensure safety and operational integrity while allowing for innovation and expediency. In conclusion, the report on Trump's request to expedite the return of astronauts from the ISS reveals several layers of complexity that extend beyond a simple political narrative. Understanding these nuances is essential for grasping the broader implications for space exploration operational safety and the role of communication in shaping public perception. 1. Miscommunication and confusion. The situation surrounding the astronauts' return has been exacerbated by public statements from Trump and Musk, which created a narrative of urgency and potential crisis. This highlights the challenges of communication between political figures and space agencies. NASA's existing plans for the astronauts' return were already set for early April 2025, yet Trump's framing of the situation as a potential stranding led to widespread confusion. This incident underscores the importance of clear communication and coordination between government officials, agencies, and private companies involved in space missions. 2. Political dynamics and accountability. Trump's comments reflect the politicization of space missions, where actions and decisions are scrutinized through a partisan lens. Both Trump and Musk criticized the Biden administration for perceived negligence regarding the astronauts. Despite NASA's assertion that the decision to extend their stay was based on safety and operational concerns rather than political motives. This situation illustrates how space exploration can become entangled in political discourse, affecting public perception and potentially undermining trust in space agencies. 3. NASA's operational integrity. NASA's response to the situation emphasizes its commitment to the safety and well-being of astronauts aboard the ISS. The agency has clarified that Williams and Wilmore were not stranded and had the capability to return in an emergency. This assertion reinforces NASA's operational integrity, as decisions regarding astronaut safety are made based on scientific and safety considerations. The distinction between a rescue operation and a routine crew rotation is significant, as it reflects NASA's professionalism in managing complex space missions. For industry implications in future missions, this incident has broader implications for the commercial space industry, particularly regarding its relationship with government oversight and public perception. The confusion created by high-profile figures can impact future missions and partnerships. Moreover, the ongoing delays in Crew 10 and potential issues with spacecraft will require careful management to maintain the trust of the public and stakeholders. As private companies like SpaceX increasingly collaborate with NASA, the dynamics of these relationships will be crucial in shaping the future of space exploration. 1. Apollo 13, 1970. The Apollo 13 mission is one of the most famous cases of a space crisis. After an oxygen tank exploded en route to the Moon, NASA faced a life-and-death situation with 3 astronauts stranded in space. The mission was intended to be a routine lunar landing, but the explosion caused critical failures in the spacecraft's systems. NASA's ground control worked tirelessly to devise a plan to bring the astronauts safely back to Earth. The mission highlighted the importance of teamwork, communication, and problem-solving under pressure, ultimately resulting in the safe return of the crew. The phrase "Houston, we have a problem" became iconic, symbolizing the challenges faced in space exploration. 2. Skylab 2, 1973. Skylab 2 was the first crewed mission to the United States' first space station, Skylab. The mission faced significant challenges when the crew encountered unexpected technical difficulties, including overheating due to a malfunctioning solar array. The astronauts had to adapt their plans and work closely with mission control to troubleshoot the issues, ultimately completing their objectives despite the setbacks. Skylab 2's success demonstrated the resilience and ingenuity of astronauts and ground control teams, showcasing the complexities of long-term space missions and the necessity for effective communication and flexible problem-solving. 3. Mir Space Station Incidents 1980s to 1990s. The Russian Mir space station experienced multiple incidents that tested the limits of its crew and mission control. Notably, in 1997, the Progress 232 cargo spacecraft collided with Mir, causing significant damage. The crew was initially in a precarious situation, but they managed to stabilize the station and continue their work aboard. This incident underscored the importance of preparedness for emergencies and the ability of astronauts to handle unexpected challenges. mirrors various incidents including power failures and life support system issues, demonstrated the need for robust contingency planning and highlighted the human spirit's resilience in overcoming adversity in space. The recent events surrounding President Trump's request for SpaceX to expedite the return of NASA astronauts from the International Space Station ISS highlight a complex interplay of space operations, political dynamics, and public perception. While the request has raised concerns about potential miscommunication and operational integrity, it also underscores the evolving landscape of space exploration and the role of private enterprises. 1. Operational dynamics of space missions. The timeline of the astronauts' extended stay aboard the ISS illustrates the challenges of managing crewed space missions. Initially intended for a short stay, the astronauts' missions were prolonged due to safety concerns with the Boeing CST-100 Starliner. NASA's decision to delay the return was not arbitrary, it was based on rigorous safety protocols and operational assessments. In the future, we can expect NASA and private partners like SpaceX to adopt more flexible and responsive mission parameters that prioritize astronaut safety while optimizing mission timelines. 2. Political influence on space operations. Trump's public statements and actions reflect an increasing intertwining of politics and space exploration. As space missions become more prominent in national and global discourse, political leaders will likely leverage these events to shape narratives around their administrations. This trend raises questions about the influence of political agendas on scientific and operational decisions. Future administrations may need to establish clearer boundaries between political rhetoric and the technical realities of space missions to maintain public trust and operational integrity. 3. The role of private companies. SpaceX's involvement in crewed missions signifies a shift towards privatization in space exploration. The reliance on private companies for transportation and operational support will continue to grow, as evidenced by SpaceX's pivotal role in this situation. However, this dependency also necessitates clear communication and coordination among NASA, private companies, and the government to avoid misunderstandings and potential crises. As the industry matures, the emergence of new players may introduce additional complexity to the landscape, necessitating robust regulatory frameworks and collaboration guidelines. 4. Public perception and communication. The confusion stemming from Trump's comments illustrates the importance of effective communication in the realm of space exploration. As space missions capture public interest, the need for transparent and accurate information dissemination becomes crucial. Future communication strategies should prioritize clarity and timely updates to prevent misinformation and maintain public confidence in space agencies and their partners. 5. Advancements in space travel and technology. The ongoing developments in spacecraft technology, particularly the advancements being made by SpaceX and other private entities, will likely lead to more efficient and reliable space travel. As technologies improve, the risks associated with extended stays in space may decrease, potentially allowing for longer missions without concerns for astronaut well-being. This evolution will facilitate more ambitious missions, including longer duration expeditions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. 6. International collaboration in space exploration. The ISS serves as a symbol of international cooperation in space. However, as geopolitical tensions rise, the future of collaborative space endeavors may face challenges. The need for countries to work together on shared goals such as scientific research and exploration will be vital. Enhanced communication and coordination among nations will be essential to navigating the complexities of space governance and operations in the coming years. In summary, the incident involving Trump, SpaceX, and NASA highlights the intricate relationship between space exploration politics and public perception. As we look to the future, the space industry is poised for significant changes driven by technological advancements, increased privatization, and the need for effective communication. Balancing these elements will be crucial for ensuring safe and successful human endeavors in space. The ongoing evolution of space exploration will demand adaptability, collaboration, and a commitment to transparency, ultimately shaping the next chapter in humanity's journey beyond Earth.